My guest today comes from Switzerland, Robert Baldwin, VP Key Account Manager with Packimpex. Packimpex has a very long history of helping businesses and expatriate individuals with their international assignments. Currently, they have offices in Switzerland, UK, Belgium, Germany, and Netherlands, and they are one of Europe's leading providers of integrated mobility services, from destination services, immigration, visa, corporate apartment management, and furniture rental. Hello, Robert, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
The first question would be, Robert, what would be those three main things Packimpex can boast with before their clients? Meaning, what makes Packimpex stand out from the crowd, let's say?
I mean, it's hard when you give me three because of, but
there are so many.
Well, I think there are so many. I hope there are lots. I think one of the things that maybe make us stand out a little bit is, a flexible service approach. I think it's maybe perhaps a little bit topical at the moment, where we're really looking how we blend technology and the digital experience with the in-person local connection. I think that's really kind of a unique blend that I think we're all having to navigate at the moment, but I feel it's something that we're strongly positioned in. One that I'm equally proud of as well, as my son, who's 22, reminds me that this is something that everybody should be committed to, is we've been CO2 neutral since 2012. I see a lot of industry peers signing up pledges and commitments to become CO2 neutral, but
Amazing.
We've been there for the last 9 years, so that's something that I think we're proud of and we continue to work on. And I really think the constant culture of improvement, people put in, they have a service satisfaction score of 96, 97, 98%, which is great, but there needs to be a culture within an organization that, well, that's good, but we want better. And I think that's really very much where we're at as an organization, is we're hungry to learn, we're hungry to get better. We're not the finished article, but I know that we'll never be the finished article, but the desire to improve comes from within. So I would say those are the three main points that I think stand out for me that maybe make us a little bit different.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you please share with us an amazing story of Packimpex consultants going the extra mile for their clients? That's a buzz phrase at the moment, and that's why I'm using it.
Yeah, I would say it's quite interesting because I think consultants consistently go the extra mile, but they're quite a modest group and don't tend to actually promote a lot of the good work that they're doing behind the scenes. So it's always interesting to dig around and try and find what's been really done, because you realize that there's an awful lot. And I stumbled across one the other day, which kind of caught my attention. It was with the COVID travel and last minute changes. We were helping a family and they had their pet in transit, and they ultimately couldn't actually travel themselves. So our consultant, I guess, is very dog friendly, and actually took the family's pet into their house and looked after it until the family were finally able to get the documentation to get here. So
that's extra mile, definitely.
Yeah, that was the extra. That was an extra mile. But as I tell you, it's actually fascinating because there's a group of people I really think field consultants do just such a phenomenal job, and there's a lot of different things that they do that they don't shout about. So, but that was one I was able to unearth. I suspect there's a lot more as well, to be honest.
Amazing, amazing. What advice would you give young people that decide to enter this global mobility industry?
Well, I guess maybe I was young when I started, perhaps I wasn't. I would definitely say enjoy it, but be yourself, bring your own experiences, because I remember many years ago and being told, asking a question, well, why do we do it that way? And the response was, because we've always done it that way. Well, I think really the industry's changing, and it's okay. In fact, it's not okay. It's completely correct to ask the question, why are we doing that way? Because the young experiences coming in are the ones that are relevant. There's a changing of the guard in terms of people, but also in terms of ideas and approaches. So one of my first conferences I attended, I sat next to a fairly senior figure in the relocation industry, and he asked me how long I'd been in the business, and I said a year. And he said, well, you won't know anything about relocation until you've been in it for at least 25 years.
Oh, God.
I would beg to differ. And I think bring your own experiences and enjoy every day, because it will be different. Every day will present itself with new challenges and new experiences. So to me, it's a journey. So I would definitely, my advice is enjoy it.
What would be that one thing, Robert, that you believe a manager should know about the human behavior?
Well, I think the most important thing is to say that we're all different. And maybe that's something that I think not just managers, but all of us in the industry, and actually just in every day of life, that we all look at things differently. So it's a good step to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, to try as much as you can to visualize what it might be like. We actually had a group coming from China into Germany, and they arrived, and the taxi company that we'd engaged were struggling to make contact with the transferees as they came off a long flight. And I think it's important to conceptualize, what does that mean? You're exhausted, you're tired, you're arriving in a different country, you may not speak the language, and the person that's supposed to be your first point of contact, you can't find. And that's putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and thinking about what that means, to me, is important, not just for managers, but for all of us.
For everybody, yeah.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, you have around 18 years of experience in the banking sector, right? And
yes,
more than 15 in the global mobility one.
Yeah.
But what did you really want to be when you grew up? Don't tell me a banker, please don't.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in rural Scotland. There were 11 children in the whole school from age 5 to age 13. So there weren't a lot of us there. But we had art class every Friday afternoon, and they asked us to draw what we would like to be. And my fellow students drew various pictures with crayons and pencils and things. And a lot were sort of policemen, firemen, and farmers and tractor drivers. For some strange reason, I actually had myself, or not a great picture, I have to say, of myself carrying a briefcase with MP, so Member of Parliament, which means, oddly enough, at that age, at the probably age of about 10, I wanted to become a politician.
Of course.
Which is a bit of a strange thing to do, but, well, I guess maybe that's part of why we're in a sort of slightly unusual industry. But yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I was age 10. And I still, oddly enough, I don't think I would completely mind doing it either. But I think I'll stick with relocation a little longer.
Excellent, excellent. And one last question, Robert. What would be your superpower?
Yeah, it's well, a superpower. I mean, obviously, I don't really think I have a lot of superpowers. Actually, any superpower.
We all do.
A better way of putting it. But no, I mean, I hope that people. I remember being asked actually a long time ago. I hope that people enjoy working with me. I certainly enjoy working with lots of different people, but making a situation relaxed, putting people at ease. It's helpful to have, maybe it's an advantage of a few more years. I can at least maybe manage my anxiety, because I do feel anxious, at times, whether you're going up to present, or even the worst actually is when you go around a table, even with your colleagues, and you have to say your name and what you do within the organization. I actually, every time, and that's for 16 years, I've found that quite scary. I don't know why, it's just my Achilles heel. So maybe if I had a superpower, then it would be hopefully to make other people feel, relaxed during times, maybe when they feel a bit more stressed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert.
Very welcome.